pretty rocky. We're somewhere here in the Greek islands. We're heading towards Rhodes, pretty close to the Turkish. Pretty windy here.
Just arrived in Rhodes, Greece. We'll be touring the town in just a little bit. We're not yet docked. Harbor and the walled area. Populated area. So we'll zoom in. Just see something up close here.
Morning, but we have our trivia up and going. So come on up here, get your answer sheets, get your pencils, and we'll do a little bit of a famous places trivia while we cruise on into Greece. Well, once again, folks, we got trivia coming up right now. If you'd like to play, come on up to the south stand, grab yourself a trivia sheet and a pencil, and we'll get started in just a minute. It's famous faces trivia is going to be a little fun, so once again, come up to the south stand, grab yourself a trivia sheet and a pencil, and we'll get started in just a minute. So your chance to win the very own 24-karat gold solid plastic ship on a stick. Again, I wish all you guys the very best of luck. So once again, folks, we've got famous places trivia, and if you would like to play that, come on down to the towel stand, grab yourself a trivia sheet and...
And then we continue our drive along the southern coast of the island, which will take another 50 or so, 55 minutes. Seeing half of the island on the southern side. As we drive along, you'll see villages, valleys, mountains, orchards, all kinds of different variation of the plantation of this island. And then Lindos is our destination, which is see it from the town. We walk down slowly. And that was the Acropolis. 3 harbors on this side and another one on the other side, on the opposite, facing northwest. This is north, east, and south. Okay? So you're looking at, east now. A small tower over there, the Tower of the Angels, circular. Another one was over here, square but doesn't exist, destroyed at the time of an earthquake. Here to your left you have remnants of Aphrodite's temple. You can see the drums, capitals and so on, and on the background all these medieval public buildings. The moat which surrounds the walled city, 4.5 miles all around. A medieval city which is one of the largest medieval cities intact. Is a museum today. Of course, officers club, court of justice, and then a row of buildings all along this small harbor known as Mandraki, which is guarded in the old days, as I said, by St. Nicholas. Imitates exactly the Church of the Convent which stood next to the Grand Master's Palace. That one up there with symbols of Rhodes. And on the same spot is known to be the place for the construction of this beautiful work of bronze done by Rhodian stone cutters and masons, and at the same time, Rhodians worked. This a small mosque over here is associated with one of the gardens here, replaced with hotels. And so we have now a different number of Greek cities developed from Italia all the way up to the Black Sea. I'm talking about the colonization of the Greek cities of the 8th century AD. And here we're on the topmost point. The temples, just fragments on the ground. Well, further to the left, as we drive front and left, you will see Apollo's temple. And that's a part of the wing, as we call it, the column surrounding the cellar wall, in Doric order. No, the Black Sea is about 700 nautical miles northwest from here. Yes, this is Apollo's temple, and this is the area of the classical Acropolis with more ruins to come. Let's. There's water, spring water, fertile valleys. Besides, is one of the very few who have very good reviews. And it was established, they say, mythologically I'm talking about, by a Minoan from Crete. Established themselves was Camiros, and that is very close to ancient Camiros, and Arthemenes, who was the prince, developed later on. I'm talking about the 7th century between there, but if you go, it's a beautiful place. Most important attractions, very powerful as a sanctuary dedicated to Athena, the goddess Athena, the daughter of Zeus, goddess of wisdom. The owl was her symbol. Here, the shield or a fiali is the figure from antiquity which was replaced by the mother of Christ, Panagia, in the later the Christian era. This very beautiful little place. Yes, Lindos, and this little village crowned by what? An Acropolis,
Nice, huh?
The world inaccessible only from one side, all the others totally inaccessible, because most of it. Then village Koskinu, the medieval city, as well in Kalithea. Spring waters of Kalithea, 1961, for 3 months. The major harbour was the one to your left, you see, and the other one was on the other side.
The town of Lindos on the island of Rhodes. Fortress.
Well, hello. Hello. Tower, remember, wherever you go around, you look at this and you know where to go after that. You actually just follow just simply one line back, you are in the square in 3 minutes. You may go as far as then Panagia cycle, the Mariological. Maria is the name Panagia. From her birth, I mean the dream, the birth, or the Mariological. This is the cycle, of Panagia and of Christ above. And on the lowest zone you have saints, men and women, male and female. And always the last judgment on the Christian, small churches is this west side. That's the last judgment, of course. No comparison with the Sistine Chapel, or rather the last judgment you probably have seen. Just to give you an idea only how hell is depicted. The righteous and the Romans, you can see on both sides. The ones on the right, the ones on the left, the apostles, the judges, and Christ as the high judge right above. No. I'm sorry, I cannot keep you longer here. And so, this is what they would do. Of course, in the beginning it was different. With this, crushed clay, they make the bottom. Now it's cement. Cement is there, what you see, it's an old thing. Stages, wooden, metal. This triangle, step the vase is upside down, nicely, as they do in ancient times. We have on ancient ceramic still showing the interior, how the vases were positioned, placed, and showing that. So here the man now, Savas, will demonstrate to us how they make these ceramics. And next to this full table over here, all these lovely, copies. Amphora type with the cartridges. Remember, I guess I showed that I had in my paper on my photographs. This is one of the most beautiful ceramics that was made in Camiros area. We know where it was found, in the Carnival Freedom, cemetery, with the cartridges. And the date of that is 7th century BC, the original, 7th century, 27 centuries ago. On potter's wheel as today, by hand and then fired. The type of what we call wine or water jar. If it's a trefoil, has a different shape. We'll see somewhere. One handle, trefoil, wine jar or water jar. And you see on zones the deers. The Dama, the typical Rhodian deer with his dots on the body, and the other deer which still survives that today in the forest of Rhodes. And I've heard recently that the number, which has diminished, is 120 at the moment. And of course, with this year, they will, we have a bit more, coming because they are preserved. And shooting is forbidden, believe me, and license, gun, and jail. Yes, of course, certainly. I mean, if they do, if they are caught, because sometimes, it may happen without getting caught. Unfortunately, sometimes. This little one appeared firstly in Corinth, the shape of it, yes. In the shape of, this alabaster type, but, no handles, as you see, and of course, in a nice way, appeared with mythological Oriental style animals, in the beginning. And here, this one shows you this chimera goat, one of the chimera, this mythological creature in the Greek mythology. I'm going back to a little earlier than that, to this open bowl, twin handle, double handle, short legs as you see, here, and the geometric patterns and the birds in the beginning. We're talking about late 9th, early 8th century, you see. This is 100 years earlier, the date, the original one in the museum. And these are exact copies it makes here. The shape of this one is the so-called Cantharos type, the Dionysian, wine jar that Dionysian his companions were drinking in Dionysian, festivals in the forest and so on. We have this, also by Sophocles and Aristophanes, mentioned Dionysian feasts, all in zones, typical of the 8th century again.
We are in Turkey, Izmir, Turkey, also known as Smyrna. Beautiful jammer type cruise in front of us here. You can see some of the folks getting off our boat. This port, huge city all around now. See some of the mosques. Opening this morning. It's actually quite a bit cooler here than it was yesterday in Rhodes. It's incredibly hot and humid in Rhodes. Looks like a little city park there. Buildings, high rises. City extends on the other side of the port of the harbor. See some large buildings, high rises. Gulls kind of flying around.
Saying that anything that sounds like money to you is the same to us. And it really works that way. I recommend that you ask the price of anything in your currency, which will be easier for you to convert. They quickly convert it to your currency. And most of the prices with stories to the end of the tour, I call them before you sleep stories, because on the way back you will be more sleepy.
Turkish countryside on our way to Ephesus. Some sort of quarry down there.
They found many lady statues, female statues here, so they call it the girls' gymnasium. But we have the harbor and the theater gymnasiums too, which were the schools that they were taught music, oratory, mathematics, and physical education. Okay, number 12, this way please. Let's see who is in, who is out.
Oh my God.
There's the Roman baths. Starting
Yeah, what do you think most of the vegetation around here is? Like these trees?
You can see some writing on there, huh? Greek writing.
Where went? You're off the rocks, It's where we are standing at the moment.
Yeah. Tell us.
Once I guessed it in Turkey.
Oh, in Turkey.
Now we are standing on a sidewalk which used to be covered with a roof at the top in order to prevent from sun and rain. And this sidewalk was actually one edge of the agora, the marketplace that you have on your left side. But in Ephesus they had two agoras. The marketplace, the shopping place, was by the harbor. So the agora here would be more like a gathering place, like Hyde Park in London, that the people used to come together, discuss about their opinions and ideas about the administration. Because we talk about the gate of Hercules, the narrow gate. From the bottom part, up here, no slaves, no common people, and no chariots were allowed. So it's only the selected
We'll take your picture first.
Because you do not see the pillar. No? Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, to just guess, the buildings like this has a roof at the top or not. And check the whole history to the stage. Because in summertime it's very hot here and it's not nice and you have the sun but you don't die. But it also rains here. When it rains, if you do not have a drainage system to take the rainwater out of the stage, you use the stage as a pool rather than a stage. So we look at the stage. If there is something to take the rainwater out, we can say that they had no cover. But if there is nothing but just a plain stage, we can say that they had a cover at the top so that they had no problem with the rainwater coming. And we know that they had a wood roof at the top of this. The tunnel goes without having administrative offices and guest houses for the government guests, they used to have a fire burning. That fire used to represent the life of the city, which means as long as the fire is burning, it means that the city is safe, under control, no problem, no enemies attacking it. And they had these gentlemen who were named the coureurs, who were responsible to keep this fire burning. Every year in the spring festival, they were looking their torches from the fire pillars, where you have those two columns, and they were walking down this ramp until the archon their side, the holes in the body of the chairs of the dress, so it's a more neat and female-looking column that they do. The one over there is a Doric style with no carving. They say that it's the man, the gentleman's one, because he's of the hair and has no stairs, no top. So it is not my fault. Okay.
Acaba dışarıdan gelenlere var.
Bu biletten arkasında yazıyor. Yani belediye alıyor o için. Hocam buranın altında kanal geçiyor şu anda. Sıradan sürebilirsiniz.
Ya, bisogna fare una fermata, almeno.
A ver, dime, ¿qué es la puerta de eso?
Number 12, you're here. Domitian. Domitian was an emperor who was very powerful, but we know that the Ephesians did not like him, because we know that he treated the early Christians in a bad way, and he was the one who sent St. John to Patmos Island. But when he is alive, he is the boss. They had the temple with him. The day after his death, they came and destroyed the temple. This is what is left of the temple, and we know that he was murdered by his mate too. So he was very much liked by the people in this building. That's why they are assuming that it might be a hospital or a pharmacy. Do you know why the snakes are the symbols of the doctors? Because victory, the leaves that he's holding used to be given to the winner of the Olympic Games. And the swish, the check mark of Nike shoes here comes from the goddess Nike. All over VIP. Among you guys, we have the moments that we... Brown? Perfect.
Doctor, consul, who made something correct. So this is on the original here. An example. Look at normal, you know. You get a sample of gold, and then the gold is a ship.
Oh, it sure does. From a mastodon.
So we become a bigger circle.
Okay. It does.
Here you see the fountain of Trajan.
Oh, that was from the Cyclops.
In the center they used a big stake the emperor. That's why I said if you come closer, it will be a better shot for you. They used to have a big statue of the emperor. Today we only have his foot left and the round structure. But the people were hot days, so after the siesta time, people were waking up in a very nice, refreshed, clean city. Well, now let's go to the Champs-Élysées. I really recommend that you come closer because we have very nice mosaics here. If I put some water, you can see the real color of the mosaics, which is very nice. Okay, can you all hear me? Yep. Okay. So this section, including the part with the roof, is called the terrace houses or the houses on the slopes, which are the houses of the very wealthy citizens. They were called the terrace houses because the roof of every house was the terrace of the other. Step by step, step by step, step by step. And the houses were done in peristyle type of architecture. Do you know what a peristyle is? It's a square courtyard in the middle. Rooms were surrounding the courtyard, and the light and the air was coming from the center, and the rooms had no windows. I don't know if it's a smart way of living like that, no windows, but now we appreciate it.
Okay, guys, we got it together. Well, it's a building here, and the building shape is typically a kind of a basilica or temple. Well, we say more like a temple. It's pronounced and a cellar and an official. At the end, there is only building a table and dedicated
Benches surrounding that courtyard. The dirty water of the baths were flowing underneath the benches as a flush system. You will see a channel in front of the seats for the clean water. Sit on the marble.
I said enough of those things.
Okay, you can have your seats. Let's start today's meeting. So it was a very friendly atmosphere. Everybody used to sit side by side talking about stuff.
Sit down, it's very comfortable.
It's a man, but in the 20% that is aggravated, we have no clues about the ladies' washroom. So I personally assume that it might be unisex because they were until the time of Emperor Hadrian, they used Roman baths, men and women together. So they have no discrimination like that. So it's a possibility that it may be unisex. Then it's even more friendly. Because in that period, when the Romans came here, the inhabitants were Greek. So they were speaking Greek. But the coming of the Romans, the official language became Latin. But not everybody was speaking Latin yet, so because they were bilingual. They were speaking both Latin and Greek. So you will see inscriptions both in Greek and in Latin. So this time Julius Caesar wanted to build a nice monument for his son. But he knows that he cannot make a regular church. He thought that if he makes a public building dedicated to his father, it will be in the city center and it will be visited by many people. So he has a monumental library with the two statues underneath. And on the facade he put 4 statues representing the good character of them. Wisdom, virtue, intelligence and knowledge. From outside it looked like 2 floors, inside it was 3. When you go in, you will just be seeing those walls that you see from here, which means no steps going up, which makes them feel that they have an elevator working without electricity, wheels and power. It was very smart. With 12,000 floors. Of course, they had no.
We're going to get no one in the picture. No, I know.
On the right side of the gate, you see the big arches called Mateus and Mithridates.
Yeah, I know.
Mateus and Mithridates. When the Emperor Augustus III, they were so happy that they wanted to thank the Emperor, so they themselves built a monumental gate which is the entrance to the community Agora as a present to the Emperor. Finally, most important of all, this is the end of the street of the Kure. If you were taking the regular road, you would be going this way, this is the construction in the theater. This is the Marble Road. And the Marble Road, you have the advertisement of the building which is next door.
Sorry.
Papi, no necesito.
El agua, ¿no? Ya, vaya,
people, and the blind people are down top here.
Anlamadım ne olduğunu yani. Tutturdular su istedi. Bir tane şey kadın var. Yazıyor orada Ergin su aldı. Ergin.
Here's the ancient theater, Greek theater in Ephesus. It sat about 24,000 spectators. It's kind of like a main drag through the town too. You can see it here. We're gonna head down toward the bathrooms. There's Angie. You want to wave? Hello. Oh, te Nonno. Babushka. What did you call it? Babushka?
Tarbush.
Tarbush. Check him out. So what, do you know any good Turkish sayings, Nonno?
I know, in Egypt,
Everybody were?
all this we got it.
Yeah.
This is our tarbush.
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 Tarbush. Yeah. Can you say tarbush?
Tarbush.
Tarbush. Okay, we're gonna go get a snack to hold our stomachs.
Oh, yeah.
5 o'clock we have the dinner with the captain.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Wait, 5 o'clock is, I thought it was just like a stupid little event thing. I didn't think it was dinner with the captain.
It's probably not, but it's kind of just a reception thing.
It's a reception, so if you
Do
want
we
to go
eat
to
dinner
that,
at
you
it?
should be dressed for dinner at that time.
Here we are pulling out of this, the other side of the bow. You can see we're just pulling out of the port here. Heading back out into the straits. Take us out. Kind of open sea out into the Mediterranean or the Aegean again. Towards Istanbul, which is to the north, up in the straits. Container ship here just kind of zooming by us. Here we are, just pulled into the dock at Istanbul. There's the suspension bridge that connects Asia to Europe.
Well, I'll be giving you some information about Istanbul. Istanbul is the most important city in Islamic Republic. Although the majority of the people in Turkey are Muslim, it's not an Islamic republic. For instance, Pakistan is an Islamic republic, right? But Turkey is a secular culture, etc., etc., or Sharia system like in Saudi Arabia and so on, or monarchies. But in Turkey, Turkey is the only one that can practice Islam and democracy closer to the Western standards at the same time. So Turkey is a very special country. It's the only country that can practice, or that can make all of them live together, democracy and Islam. And ladies and gentlemen, this area that we are driving at the moment is known as the center of the city center. This is the Galata Bridge, and the Galata Bridge is in between two sides of the Golden Horn. This is Golden Horn. Golden Horn starts in here and goes to the right, and it's an inlet. It's not a river. It's an inlet for about 6 miles long. So this is one of the 4 bridges, Galata Bridge. And right across us, at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock direction, you see one big mosque up on the hill. That is the Süleymaniye Camii, built in 16th century during the golden time of the Ottoman Empire. I said that we have 500 mosques, and this is one of the most important ones. If you look onto the left-hand side, and you see many trees and one tower, that is the Topkapı Palace area. That had been the palace of the Ottoman Sultans for 300 years. And right in front of us, a small building with 3 small domes, on the top, and an archway and an entrance. That is the Spice Bazaar, or the Egyptian Bazaar, where all the spices are sold. And this big mosque on the right is the Valide Camii, built in 18th century. It took 100 years to build this mosque, finish this mosque. It is one of the beautiful mosques in Istanbul. But Istanbul had been the capital city of the Ottoman Empire from 1453 until 1920s. So being the capital city of the big Ottoman Empire, we have so many historical buildings from the Ottoman times. Palaces, bazaars, mosques, etc., etc. So I said that majority of the people in Turkey, so Istanbul is the center of many things like economy, tourism, culture, art, many things, but not the political center. Political center is Ankara program. We'll go to the Grand Bazaar area, and then after spending 1 hour 30 minutes, 1 hour 40 minutes in the Grand Bazaar area, the bus will drive us back to the Sultanahmet area again to see the center of it. But only those who are wearing shorts, man or woman, doesn't matter, or sleeveless shirts, or decollete clothes, they will be given a piece of cloth at the entrance of the mosque to cover their bodies. So all you have to do is just take that piece of cloth. If the man gives you something to cover your body, please take it, and then it means that you need to cover your body. If they don't stick bags, for us, I'll be giving these plastic bags to you once we get off the bus. So you may take these plastic bags, and inside the mosque you will take your shoes off and put in these plastic bags and carry with you, and then you will carry your shoes with you. There's
I thought the Hippodrome was a racetrack. Or maybe it's the obelisk. So there was a racetrack around this obelisk or something.
Park. The Egyptian part was brought all the way from temple in Karnak from Egypt in 1800. It was erected in there in 1800 BC, and it was brought all the way from Egypt to here in the 4th century AD. It was not stolen, ladies and gentlemen, because in that time the whole North Africa was a part of the Roman Empire. So, and if you want to, you may want to know, what the Egyptian hieroglyph says over here. It talks about the Egyptian pharaoh Thutmose III, full of praises made to his period. And the base is a Roman king, built in 4th century AD. When they decided to erect the obelisk in here, they made this Roman base. On 4 sides of the base, which dates back to 4th century AD, you will find some pictures about the Roman life in the hippodrome. You will see emperor sitting in his throne with his family and men watching the games, etc. on 4 sides. And this wasn't the original ground level of the hippodrome, and it was covered with bronze plates on which there were some pictures. During the Latin Crusaders' invasion of the Constantinople in the 12th century, they were all ripped off and taken by the Crusader army.
I would totally climb that.
That's quite a mine. Sort of blossoming trees like. See these in Florida too. I forgot what these are called. Beautiful, huh? The back side of the, I think they call this Constantine's monument, right? Or obelisk.
You know how much? This is €1. For you, €1. €1, €1. €1.
The next stop after the north, Empire. The Ottoman Empire in Istanbul means from 1453 until 1920s. And this mosque was built in 17th century, in about 16 years of time. I mean, accomplishing such a big task, such a difficult task, in about 16 years of time, you may understand it's a very difficult thing. But the secret of this is that they didn't waste any time for making also entrance here, the entrance door. These are minarets. I'm sure you know the function of the minaret, but I would like to refresh your memory to call the people for prayer. In the old times, before the Japanese invented the loudspeakers, the muezzins used to go up to the minaret and call people for prayer. Having 6 minarets doesn't mean that 6 muezzins used to go up in the same time and call. It's not that way. Having 6 minarets is only for
Also the flashlight also carpets inside the mosque, and there where the carpets begin.
really big.
Is there any reason for me to take these, or are you gonna do it all?
After I give you a little information, I'll give you some quick information about the service and the other things. First, let's begin with the colors. I mean, if you look around, it's all blue. And there are 2 types of blue things in here. The blue paintings, which you see in the upper section there, and then blue tiles, which you see on the wall of the first gallery, up there. And all of the mosque. The tiles are important because, ladies and gentlemen, most foreigners are confused about one fact that, Turkish people, although we are Muslims, although we share the same religion with the Middle Eastern people, we ethnically, Turkish people are totally different. Ethnically, Turkish people are Asian. We come from Asia. 1,000 years ago, in the 10th century AD, the Turks came from Asia to here, to Anatolia. About 1100 years ago, we were in Asia. Where is in Asia? The northern part of China. The first homeland of the Turkish people are known as the northern part of China. You know the Great Wall of China? It was built against the Turkish attacks to the Chinese country. So that's where all the Turkish people were living, 100 years ago. And then, two important traditions that the Turks have brought from Asia are, one of them is carpet making, carpet weaving. We brought it from Asia and spread all over the world. And we taught how to weave carpets, to the whole world. I mean, if you may find handmade carpets in Egypt, or in Middle East, in Syria, Jordan, or Algeria, it's all during the Ottoman Empire when the Turks were ruling those areas. So our people have taught. Still, practice nowadays is the carpet weaving. And the second one is tile making. This sort of tiles. The Chinese are also known as making the best tiles in the world. Some historians believe that the Chinese learned how to make these tiles from Turks, and some of them believe that Turks have learned them from Chinese. But obviously it's an Asian.
ladies and gentlemen, this is an active one. So the Muslim people still come and pray in church, and if they want, you know. So you usually see people coming and praying in here for the whole day. Not so much, because our working life is scheduled according to the Western system, you know? So there is no time. Yes, I mean, according to the Islamic religion, as long as the place where you are praying, or and
Fridays I work there at the same time. Yes, please. No. There's no such a rule in Muslim religion. Everything is for men and women.
The problem with the rug merchants is that it's a historical building and they're all small shops, one after each other. So the rug merchants cannot hold a big inventory. I mean, the jewelry stores, they usually have many kinds, you know. You may be satisfied with the variety, but the rug merchants, because it's a small place, they usually keep limited inventory in there. And then once you are in the shop, they, rather than opening you more kinds or varieties, they just open one or two and try to convince you, you know, to like what they have. So they just keep talking, you know. Plus this shipping is a problem.
Yes, that's 7 by 10 feet.
Approximately that size.
You mean 5 by 7? Yes.
Take my picture, sir. You're welcome. Why are you famous from USA? But your husband was that Turkish.
No.
Baba.
You say Alibaba.
Sir, come this way.
I would want me to get some Evil Eye stuff.
Who did?
Robert. Could our family be a little bit Turkish?
Sure, I wouldn't doubt it.
Because like when I was looking at that guy's arm, and it's like my arm hair resembles his arm. Oh, sweet.
Nice.
Nice. I sell leather. I'll show you my leather shop.
I'm not interested, thank you.
Carpets, maybe?
So I'm Let's head back, see if we can.
Yani bir kutu olsa yeterlidir yani. Kapatırız. Onun dışındaki de işte really very beautiful place. Old church.
Stay here in the shade. Those look like chestnut trees.
Turkish, as we call it. Santa Sophia is as what Latins called it, and Hagia Sophia is the ancient Greek. Hagia Sophia means
Call hers.
So the church is dedicated to Jesus Christ. So not someone called Sophia or something like that, but the whole Santa Sophia or the Hagia Sophia in ancient Greek it means all wisdom. It is a very special building which was built in 600 AD. 6th century AD. So just imagine how many buildings there are in the world from 6th century AD and how many of them are in such good condition. And it was built by the Eastern Roman Empire. And it was finished, it was accomplished during the reign of one emperor only. It took about 30 years to finish it during the reign of Emperor Justinian, who lived in 6th century AD. He was an Eastern Roman Empire. It used to be a Greek Orthodox church, and it was used as a church from 6th century AD until 15th century for about 900 years as a church. And in 15th century, you may know what happened. The Ottoman Turks, who were Muslim, came and conquered the city. And then the first thing they did was to convert the building into a mosque. Why? Because Santa Sophia, when it was first built in 6th century AD, it used to be the largest church of the Christendom on earth. It used to be the largest one. So in 15th century, when the Muslim Turks came and conquered the city, it was a great honor for them to convert the largest church of the Christianity into a mosque. That's why the first thing they did after the conquest was to convert the building into a mosque. And then it was used for about 400 years as a mosque. And in 1920s, as you know, the Ottoman Empire collapsed and modern Turkey was founded. And in 1930s, the founder inhabited in this area in 6th century BC. So the British historians identify this from with Virgin Mary on the left and Angel Gabriel on the right. And the man by the feet of Jesus Christ is the Emperor Lucca, one of the emperors. And this mosaic, ladies and gentlemen, I said that most of the mechanics So if you look at these huge columns, yeah, look at the capital of the column. Look at the walls, the quality of the walls. So it is building. And now I'm going to show you the original mosaic and the plaster added on top of it during the Ottoman time. This is as it used to be in the picture. It was never destroyed, but it was destroyed. And the plaster was put on it was something like the yellow background. Yes. And once they Muslim people, Ottoman Muslims,
We are back in Constantinople for our tour today, and you can see the Bosphorous. Keep going down that way, past the suspension bridge, you'll be in the Black Sea. See traffic heading home. So this side is the European side. Side is the Asian side right across. You can see all the traffic, all the sea traffic. Significant amount of sea traffic. So I guess they cordoned that off because they just painted those handrails. From the back of the boat too. Not a battery here. Backside of Constantinople. First milestone structure here, so St. Sophia, we saw this morning. Athens. It's not Georgia. Athens, Greece. You can see part of the Parthenon there.
Look, oh wow, very good. We ruined, all right.
What's this amphitheater here?
Okay. 1, 2.
That's quite a view, huh?
Why didn't they build it up there? Huh? Were they too lazy?
Wanted to save the tourists some breath.
Chyba no właśnie, tutaj ciągle czynne. Wygląda, że bara starszy z chwilą.
Oh, excuse me. Here we are on top of the Acropolis. We're meandering our way through here. You can see the crowds. Great Parthenon. From the Acropolis.
One's like, it's a fact. The other one, it's not a fact, but it's a fact.
You guys see what the temple, which temple this is?
No, but I think it might be the Dionysus.
Dionysus?
Yeah. That was so good.
Además, con esta tiene la antigüedad. Me da mucho dinero. ¡Qué maravilla! Mira, esta parte de izquierda ya está restaurada y esta derecha la tendrán que restaurar. It was going to be a totally safe trip on the horse and everything. The cruise director got on the horse, and as soon as he got on there,
Huh? Nice view of the ship. Yeah, I can't get to there from here. Let me see if I can meander over. There's our ship right in port. And this is Greece still. It's called Katakalon Port, little port. Some of the side streets in the little city. Huh?
beautiful out here.
Yeah, it is.
Right time of day.
Drag my dad maybe off the ship with the kids to have some lunch. town behind us. And some of the villas up top. Pretty nice homes. Approaching the Straits of Messina. That's the landmass you see off to the right, there to the left there. Sicily, Spain, Italy there. Sun's rising over the east. There's a small opening between these two landmasses there. Just right past the Straits of Messina. City Looks like all the tour buses and taxis are ready to pick us up, take us on our excursions.
We're not gonna get there.
We're trying to get to Lucca today, but we may not have a lot of luck. We're in Livorno. This is the Livorno train station. Don't know if we're going to be lucky enough to get to Lucca though. We got a train ticket to Pisa. Here we are in Lucca, Tuscany still, kind of a northern Tuscany town. This is the town Giacomo Puccini came from, famous opera composer. Oh, something big's going.
A lui.
Yeah, so sound like. I want to see if we can see that statue of the facade on this church is really unique. This is San Michele al Foro in Lucca. At the arc, is that Gabriel up top? It's like Gabriel. Isn't that unique? I'm glad we were able to make it here, regardless of the train strikes. That's the church at the very top of the Spanish Steps. That's where we're at right now. It's a beautiful.
Why do they call them Spanish?
I think the church and a lot of the area here was, the church itself I think was built by the Spanish. The Spanish had kind of a representation here as well as the French, kind of in this area of Rome. Now the fountain down below was actually built by Bernini's father. Kind of a unique fountain. You'll see a lot of interesting fountains throughout Rome today. this palace. So all the courts and tribunals, you know, all the judges, you had legal litigation you needed to manage. I think it's just a museum now. I don't think it's used any longer, but so it's not too far, maybe about another half a mile, 3/4 mile. These are all statues by Bernini.
Non l'ho poi?
Där vann igår. Mot Sundsvall. Jaså? Sundsvall har gått bra som så vidare. Ja, 3-1. Fan, ligger 2 nu. Ja, då blir de med på resa som
So the pub comes out on that one center. Addresses the masses here, the 2 fountains, equidistant. The piazza here is an ellipse. See that center window up above the door? Yeah. And all the saints, apostles, and kind of adorned up top of the church, the facade.
all the figures and stuff?
Saints, Catholic saints. I think all the disciples and apostles are up on top of the church. Like St. Peter and St. Paul.
So you can't even buy tickets out here at all, huh?
These used to be the old. This used to be the old palace of the popes,
Oh, so
the Renaissance popes.
Okay, look at this right here.
Right?
You see the sphere on top
And
of the dome?
they've turned this all into museums now. It's an art museum.
The sphere. Right here, so you have the sphere right here, which is the same size as the sphere.
Yeah, he lives in kind of modest quarters. It's the Emperor Trajan. One of the rivers, right? This is the Niles. This is Take it. I'm sorry.
Calendario gregoriano. Forse è sull'ombra di
Kelly, here it is right there, Etruria. Constantine, the emperor. He sees the miracle. This is the Borgia Temple. Gorgeous ceiling. Gorgeous stuff. Here's the School of Athens. Very famous portrait. You have Plato and Socrates, Aristotle. Somewhere in the portrait. But all the famous Greek scholars, philosophers, of the Greek classic period. Raphael painted in this painting.
이게 라파엘로가 이런 세 번째 그랬지만 가지고 대해서 축하하는데 라파엘로가 그냥 레오 10세기 왕이 예전에 전염 식당으로
Yeah, once we get in the church, we can take a break. The place is, it'll be nice and cool in there.
I like the big Panasonic screens like this one.
Side by side. Look at him, look at him moving. Look at him.
Hold on, just take a second.
Here, want a picture?
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, excuse me.
Nice. Good?
Yep, that's good.
I just didn't want to wait in line any longer. Tired of waiting in line. He's pretty exhausted. It's warm inside. that canopy, that bronze canopy over the altar, that's called the baldacchino. That also was designed by Bernini. He's one of the saints of the Catholic Church. There's the great cupola of Michelangelo in the Vatican, St. Peter's Basilica. You know, it's really hard to judge. Those letters up there at the very top, they look kind of small, don't they? They're actually very huge. You can actually take a tour that takes you all the way up. There's like an observation deck up top there. But those letters that look kind of small, it says St. Peter, Glorious, Sixtus. Then it has a date there. Pontiff, right? Whoever the pontiff is that probably finished the cupola there. But those letters are huge. They look small, but you know, you got to consider that they're hundreds of feet away from us. And again, this bronze altar piece here is called the baldacchino, the canopy hanging over the altar piece. That was designed by Bernini. Here we are, right at the altar.
Do you know that's a sculpture of?
No, we could probably look it up though. It's a symbol of the Holy Spirit. That's the throne of St. Peter in glory. And that's the apse part of the basilica. You know, really the back end. Just another altar that they can have a service at and Mass. Santa Veronica. It's a monument to Alexander VII, his Pope. Famous Bernini monument in the Vatican. That was the shield of Pope Alexander VII.
So there. It's a monument to Pius VII. There's a monument to Leo XI.
11. He was a
royal funds
oh yeah
to the church.
Oh yeah.
So the church benefited from having some wealthy.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You know, you had to have certain, you know, you had to have monument to Innocent the 12th. Pius the 12th. He's buried here. You can see his crypt.
Ready to go now.
In Rome. It's a nice monument to her. No, it looks like an obelisk behind her. Yeah, that is. I think that is a painting of her. You're right. That's a portrait of her. Very good. Yeah, painting of her. What happened to the fez, Robert? Where's the fez? Oh, there it is. It's like Robert's ready to go home.
What's up?
You ready to go home?
Yes.
Yeah. You guys didn't get too much sleep last night, huh?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing Kelly, but
You're looking forward to seeing what?
Kelly, but
Kelly.
Go home right now.
Blue 27, this is the last bus that's going to the airport. If you book transportation with us, the last clear shore, that's the last call for any bus going to the airport.
Come? Quando riparti?
Domani ci sta l'aereo.
No, rifai via. E siamo da più di un mese siamo qui. Sono stato 15 giorni da Madrid. Poi abbiamo fatto un cruising, no?
Si è visto la Grecia, la Turchia, no?
Davvero? Siamo stati a giro.
Mediterraneo.
La Grecia di che zona è Grecia?
E si è visto Atene, Rhodes, no, Rhodos, proprio lungo la costa Turchia, nell'isola.
Gente, lavoriamo proprio sul corso, quindi queste cose sì, però ho visto risolvi tanti casi strani.
Mi riprendi
Ciao.
pure, dai!
Non ti dispiace?
No,
Per ricordi così
mi fai
posso
ricordare-
far vedere le sorelle.
Lo sai che mi fai tanto ricordare zio
No.
Filippo? Zio
Sì?
Filippo quando veniva
Mamma mia, zio
con la telecamera tutto faceva.
Mi prendeva,
Zio Filippo era carina quando si andavano in America.
Tutto.
Mi mancava proprio, negli ultimi tempi proprio.
Te lo ricordavi? E zio
L'ultima volta che sono stata a viaggio di
poi veniva, faceva ricerche genealogiche, veramente.
Io me lo ricordo, lui l'ultima volta che è venuto qua è stato nel 92.
Sì,
Eh sì, perché io poi mi ricordo lui quando venne a settembre perché era morta mia suocera lo stesso giorno.
Io l'ho visto nel 97 l'ultima volta.
Sì.
Nel 97, poi è stato male.
Sì, col cuore lui soffriva di cuore.
C'era avuto lui così anni, 7.
Eh sì, pure lui c'ha 6 anni. Però
Guarda, c'è il cellulare con
io pure sono andata a viaggio di nozze. Vivevamo, scendi che zio si siede.
Ho avuto il cellulare con
Ciao Andrea.
lui oggi era in piscina, capito? In genere.
Sì, è già.
Lui fa in piscina, ci fa tutta l'estate.
Vabbè,
Nuota benino ormai.
Hai detto con mio?
No, il nome. Kelly.
Elisabetta. Sì. Hai due nomi?
Si assomigliano nonno e sorella.
Qual è il tuo
Sì. Famiglia Colomberti?
Si vede.
Io il mio.
Ma assomigliate, se la somiglianza.
Fare le sorelle?
Sì.
Ah, sì.
Quanti anni passano tra voi due? 2 anni.
Quindi anche
81
vicino.
e 83.
E con zio Filippo quanti anni? Ti passano?
Era del 21 zio Filippo. O del 22 sempre.
22, ero...
E zio Alfredo anche più anziano, lui era più.
Poi Filippo, io e te.
Io soprannome in inglese non lo so dire. Name si dice?
Surname, mi sa, no, è il cognome surname.
Sì. First name, last. Well, we say first name, last name. Primo nome, nome, ultimo nome. Surname. That's surname.
Ah, ecco.
Oh, così. Non dici niente tu.
E dormivano.
Il viaggio è stato lungo.
Si è visto un po' la costa lungo il mare qua da
Che vi sei
Civitavecchia.
fatto un giro?
No, bel giro, bel giretto, bei posti lungo il
Una
mare.
dovetta navigatore perché sennò
Lo so. Io ci
C'è
pensavo.
stato il navigatore, ci ha fatto fare le strade più assurde.
Che l'hai fatta la strada? Hai fatto
no, da Civitavecchia sì, ho fatto il lavoro, poi ho fatto una strada di campagna pure.
Ho fatto tipo panoramica.
È sempre cicciottella, Margherita?
Sì, purtroppo.
Sì, è pesante, sempre pesante, sì.
Beh, a me
Non
mi
riesce a
Mi
dimagrire.
piace...
No, a me mi hanno rovinato la malattia.
Perché da qua c'è la
malattia. Ero 130 kg.
Non ho capito.
130.
Kilos.
Ci vuole aspetta.
Mezza po'.
Like Margherita, maybe more. She was heavy.
Luisa.
Now 67.
Luisa l'ho trovata
Luisa
dimagrita
che-
però ultimamente.
Sempre
Quando è
grande.
venuta dall'Italia era dimagrita, poi non so se è ingrassata. Prima era più grossa.
67
No.
kilos.
130.
Io ho
130 kilos.
Sì.
He had 200 before.
Now 67.
Is it 200
Oggi un pochino? C'è il cagnolino.
C'è un bel carattere. Bravo. Quanti anni c'ha ora?
Andrea, 9 anni.
No.
È la tua sorella.
Così come sei.
La tua sorella,
Sì,
guarda.
è bravo,
Io
è
dico di
simpatico
no.
di carattere.
È Margherita. Ma gli stessi motivi fa, infatti lei non me lo dice, però io proprio
Chi sono questi? Fammi vedere.
adesso andiamo Andrea, adesso buono.
Oh boy.
This is Trevi. You've heard of the famous fountain of Trevi. This is it. Neptune and his horses. In the water. There's Raquel and Marco. There's Angie. I don't know, where'd you go? I can't constantly keep an eye on him. Now he either stays with us or he doesn't.
He's finishing his drink before he came in.
E sorridi un po' con questo Coglionato!